Hello everyone. In the previous lecture, you have learned how to identify the determinant of a matrix and check for the non-singularity of a determinant so that you can understand whether the inverse of a matrix is possible or not. Now, in this particular lecture, I will talk about some of the important properties of determinant. So, here are three important properties of determinant, and number one is talking about the interchange of rows and columns. So the first property says interchange of rows and columns. That means taking transpose of a matrix does not affect the value of the determinant. So given a matrix A which is equal to 4, 3, 5, 6. Let's take the determinant of this given matrix A, which is 4 into 6 minus 5 into 3, and you get 24 minus 15, which is equal to 9. Now let's take transpose of this matrix A. So transpose of a matrix is 4, 3, and 5, 6. If you take the determinant of this matrix, then you get 4 into 6 minus 3 into 5, which is again 24 minus 15, and the value is equal to 9. So here the value before taking the transpose, that means the determinant of the original matrix, and the value after taking the transpose of the given matrix, that means the determinant of the transpose matrix, they both are equal to each other. So interchanging the rows into columns and columns into rows has not hampered the determinant value. And this is a property, and like a rule of thumb, in any case this property will exist. Let's look at the second property. The second property says that multiplication of any row or column by a scalar, that means by a number, will change the value of the determinant by that amount. Okay, multiplication of any row or column by a scalar, let's say k, will change the value of the determinant by k fold. Let's see. A is equal to, suppose, a, b, c, d, right? Now if you take the determinant of a, this will be equal to ad minus bc. Now let's say the given matrix A is multiplied with k. Here k is a scalar or just a number. Okay, and then if you're multiplying k with A, then this basically means k into A, B, C, D, which is equal to, again you can write as KA, KB, KC, and KD. Now if you take the determinant of Ka, then this will be equal to Ka into Kd minus Kb into Kc. So now see the difference between the determinant of the original matrix and the determinant of the matrix which is multiplied with a scalar. Yes, the value has actually increased by k folds. Okay, now let's look at the third property. The third property says when two rows are identical, then the determinant will be always equal to 0. Okay? When there are two identical rows, that means if A is equal to C, C and D, sorry, not the rows, the columns. Here I'm writing the columns as identical columns. Either one can do, either one can do. Either you can write the rows as identical rows or the columns as identical columns. So here I have actually written a identical column because the first column is just looking like the second column. So they are the identical columns, okay? And then it is saying that when the two rows or the two columns are identical, the determinant will be equal to 0. So let's take a determinant and let's see that C multiplied with D, that means the multiplication that happened in the principal diagonal minus the multiplication that will be happening in the off principal diagonal is C into D as well. As a result, the resulted determinant is equal to 0, which is singular in nature. And whenever it is equal to 0 and singular in nature, no matrix inversion is possible, right? So over here, you can also take an example, numerical example by yourself and can check for this property. So these are the three properties of determinant that you should keep in your mind while you are performing the determinant operations, so that you can recur that yes, this might happen and you might get such sort of examples. Now we are pretty much prepared to go through the whole steps of matrix inversion. So in next lecture, we will learn how to identify the variables which are unknown and given under a system of equation. So how to simplify that system of equation, then express it in a matrix form, and then to solve for the matrix inversion method to identify the critical values. So that is regarded as the matrix inversion method, which we will continue in our next lectures. Thank you.